Hey, Chris.
Yeah, Fred.
What's a Mason?
That's a really good question, Fred.
You've reached the internet's home for all things Masonry. Join Chris and I as we plumb the depths of our ancient craft. From the common gavel to the trowel, nothing is off the table. So grab your tools and let's get to work. This is On the Level. Wow. We're here. Yeah! There it is, the rebel yell from the rebel state. No doubt.
Yeah,
South Carolina.
In the South. I'm in the Southern boy.
He's a Southern boy from the South. Wow, Chris.
Hey.
This is different. The tech side of it is a little sketchy here. I'm still working through some issues, but for those of you listening, this intro was probably our worst ever, and there's a reason for that, and the reason is that my partner Chris Burns is in South Carolina, calling in down to beautiful Florida. What's going on with that, man?
Hey, your technology skills are becoming way more important than they've ever been now. All of a sudden,
okay. I don't know.
Well, if you don't know, who knows?
This is I don't know, man. There's so much here. The problem is, and I'm going to say this out loud, okay? The problem is that we have a Mac OS which does not want to play nice with our recording deck. So that's the problem. I've been on the phone with Tascam, with all the different tech people, and it's the same old thing. Mac does not want to play with outside non-proprietary software. It just doesn't want it. It doesn't like it, doesn't want to do it. There's a roadblock at every turn, and I've had it. So we're going to get
You made a breakthrough, though.
I made a breakthrough. I did. I made a breakthrough. I was able to download the firmware off the website, which you have to download it off Tascam's website. You have to do all kinds of stuff because Mac, again, doesn't want to accept it. So you got to go round and round and round to get it on the computer. From the computer, it has to be downloaded onto the SD card on the deck. From there, it must be downloaded onto the deck itself. And Mac just doesn't want to do it. And they're all telling me that on a PC, this is one click and it's done. And on a Mac, it goes round and round and round. And every process, there's some sort of proprietary thing that pops up, doesn't want to do it, doesn't like it, doesn't understand it. It's like, so I am not a Mac guy. I did not raise my children on MacBooks. And I bought this thing because I wanted to try it and give it a try, and I so regret it. I know there's a lot of Mac people out there that are just yelling at me right now, but I don't care, brothers. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work when it comes to non-proprietary applications. It simply doesn't want to play.
Yeah. Well, you got to use the proper tool for the proper job. You can't,
Yeah,
nothing's going to work all the time.
Right, that's right. So we're going to get a PC
unfortunately
with Windows. That's right, I said Windows, and it's going to work like magic. And I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, how are you, brother? How's things going? You moved to South Carolina,
man.
And
let me tell you, I didn't. We did a stated meeting on Tuesday night.
Right, I was there.
At a regular stated communication.
Yes.
It was a great meeting. Santa came. I still got to upload photos of that. And we had our elections, and it was just this awesome night. We did a give back and awarded aprons. And, the guys wanted to go have a drink because everyone knew it was my last meeting.
And you had to get on a plane at 3 a.m.
Well, actually, I drove.
Oh.
So
please
we go out to the shrine.
Please explain.
And one and done was the plan. And after 3 shots of tequila and 4 drinks and many karaoke songs, I finally got to bed around 12:30. Had to get up at 2:30 to pack the truck for another 45 minutes and then proceed to drive for 11 hours to get here.
Wow.
So I had a rough night, but it was well worth it because we had a great time with everybody.
That's awesome.
And I'm coming back. I'll be right back tomorrow. We're going to do a Master Mason degree for 10 brothers.
10.
Another one. This is like the 3rd time this year.
An outdoor Master Mason degree in Inglewood for 10 brothers. Yeah, that's going to be awesome, man.
Inglewood Lodge number 360.
Yeah.
And that's dedication. I just moved out of the state, drove 11 hours, coming right back 2 days later.
Coming right back. Except you're not driving, you're flying, which is going to be
yes.
a little
easier.
easier.
We will meet up and talk some business and
Yeah.
exchange some things. You got to give me some things for up here, and I need to give you some things for down there.
Yep, we'll get it together.
We're getting our stuff together.
Yeah, and just a heads up, and this is a heads up for anyone listening, and a heads up for you, partner. I got a notification from Facebook that we are in violation of their community standards.
I think that's a spam thing that they send to everybody to try to get you to click links and do things.
Oh, okay, good. But
don't worry about that.
Okay, so if for any reason we're off of Facebook, guys, do not despair. It's clearly an error on their part, and we'll get it fixed. So I just wanted to make sure that you can always find us on the website. You can always go to onthelevelwithfredandchris.com and catch our show.
I think we'll be okay on Facebook. Here's the thing that I am worried about. We only have 3 weeks left to sell tickets for the Masonic Education Symposium.
Right.
We need to stop about a week beforehand because our venue needs a head count to prepare the food.
Okay.
In advance. And so we will stop selling tickets the week before. So what is that going to be? Like the 3rd of January?
Yes, like correct.
Or the 6th?
Something like that, yep.
Yeah, the 6th, I think, is that Saturday after our installation on the 5th.
Oh,
so
yeah.
We have 3 weeks, guys. Please go to onthelevelwithfredandchris.com, and you'll see right there on the homepage the event that we're doing in Sarasota on January 13th. Starts at 9 a.m. and goes until 5 p.m. Tickets cost $50, and we have 3 guest speakers and a keynote speaker. These are amazing lecturers that are going to be talking about really cool Masonic education topics. And you get to talk to them. You know, part of this whole thing is that we are going to do what we always do, have a conversation.
Right, that's right.
With each of these people, each of these brothers, including our keynote speaker, Right Worshipful Talia Atala, who's one of our Grand Lodge officers, and we'll be talking about the future of Freemasonry with everyone that shows up. I'm sure he'd love to hear your ideas about how the Grand Lodge could help improve Freemasonry in Florida. So please come out and tell him.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be a great time, and there's dinner is included, and drink tickets, and it's at Sarasota Sahib Shrine, which has a gigantic tiki hut right out front, really nice outdoor bar, nice indoor bar. The venue's real nice. I mean, it's a great place. It's going to be a great time. And
sponsored by the Three Ruffians Premium Cigars.
That's right. They'll be out there today during the program. That's right.
Sarasota DMLA chapter will be there assisting, and if anyone else wants to sponsor, we have room available for tables. Yeah,
that's right. So, I'm looking forward to it. It's the first one of many that we're going to do, and so we're all going to kind of pioneer this thing together this first time out. The goal and hope and goal is to do 4 a year, every quarter, to do one every quarter. And then we also kicked around. We were up in Washington, D.C., for those of you who didn't see on the Facebook post. We were up in Washington, D.C. to do the yearly, what is that? What officially it's the
wreath laying.
Annual wreath laying at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. But it was a 3-day thing for us that we went. We went to Arlington, obviously, for the wreath laying. Yeah. And then we spent a good amount of time there, man. It was really awesome. That day, and then the next day we toured the Capitol. Not my favorite part of the trip.
Happy about that.
I was not my house anymore, but I went, and it was interesting for sure. I learned a few things while I was there, but then for me, the thing that really stuck out to me was being at Potomac Number 5 Lodge for their installation and seeing, how they open in a Master Mason degree and how they do their work, which is very different than ours. But the basics are there. It's Masonry. You can see it. You can understand it no matter where you're from. You can still understand it, but it's different.
Absolutely.
You know, it's different and it's cool. And also there in D.C. in that particular Grand Lodge, they have a bar there at the lodge itself, which is very interesting. You can drink at Blue Lodge in D.C., which I found very interesting.
I found that very interesting. There were several very interesting things about it.
Right?
The ritual work was pretty fascinating. Especially, I think we all agreed that when they level at the end, it's far more meaningful than the way that we level in the state of Florida.
Right, and we can't really say exactly what that means. If you're a Mason, you probably know what that means. But it was a really moving, touching moment where, where
you felt part of something.
You felt part of it, right? Everybody came to this place, and it was awesome, man. It was really good. Anyway, the point is that we kicked around an idea of doing a summertime DC trip as part of OTL, as part of On the Level, once a year, an annual On the Level trip, doing a Masonic tour of DC in 2020, late 2024. So that's something we'll be kicking around as well to kind of see if we can do that.
There's just so much history, Masonic history, in that place.
Yeah, and
we found residents that lived there their whole life didn't even know about the Masonic connections.
Yeah, right.
Which was really amazing.
It was amazing. They had no idea. The guy's right down the street from the George Washington Memorial, Masonic Memorial, and he has no idea.
No, my wife too. I took her to the George Washington Masonic Memorial, and she was shocked that was there in public, and she's had no idea her whole life that he was a Mason.
Right, and if you walk into that building, I was blown away. And for anybody who's been to the thing, the Washington Masonic Memorial, it's no small deal, man. When you walk through those giant brass doors, and the front doors are 6 doors wide and probably four floors in height, of all brass, old school brass framing and glass door system. And that's impressive because it's super high. The columns are there. You walk through and you're thinking, man, this is amazing. And then you realize you're standing in this area of all this marble and these
pretty much all granite marble everywhere.
Granite marble columns that tower over you, man. They got to be 60 feet high, man. And it's an absolute marvel. And it goes on from there. The elevators, which are pitched from outside to inside 7 degrees. Each floor you go up, they get closer and closer together till you get to the very top. It's all engineered that way. And it's just an amazing thing. But so for me, doing a summertime trip, because it was really cold. It was brutal cold for us Floridians. Cold and rainy and overcast the whole time. So doing a summertime trip up there with a group of guys we could meet from all over the country, and finding a couple of people who can kind of put together an actual Masonic bus tour where we charter a bus and then we go from Masonic thing to Masonic thing and do the teaching and stuff on it. I really think Jeremy Barnes could be a big help on this. Shout out to you, brother. I know.
Yeah, Brother Barnes. I mean, when we visited the Capitol, I literally saw him chatting with the government employees there.
Yeah, and they knew him, and he knew them.
Yeah,
they know him. So yeah, he's definitely somebody that we want to get with on this and try to put it together and bring people together and really start educating people, because I need a lot of education on it too. There's a lot more there than I think even as Masons we understand.
We've scratched the surface. We know that they influence this or that, but we don't know the whole story.
Yeah, because if you look at, I haven't really totally thought this through yet, but one of the things I noticed was the Supreme Court building. If you look at the apex going into the grand entrance of the Supreme Court building, you'll see the mural above, and what you see Moses in the center, a statue of Moses in the center, and sitting to his left and his right is Aristotle and Socrates and Plato, and it goes down through all of these different philosophers throughout all of history. Well, that thing was built, in the early 1800s. So if the Constitution of the United States was ratified in I don't know when it was ratified. Shame on me. But 1776, the Declaration of Independence was begun, and the war for independence began and was fought and won. By the time you get to the early 1800s, that thing is being built on the apex of that building right there, which is very Masonic.
Oh God, yeah.
You know, and I know my everyone knows my Christian brethren who want to say that this was strictly designed as a Christian government. I think we need to step back and have a conversation about that, because though most of the men were either declared outright, Christian men of Christian faith, or they completely agreed with the tenets or precepts behind it, like Thomas Jefferson.
Well,
but they were Masonic in their application of the constitutional republic that they designed. And if you look at all the monuments, if you look at everything that you see out there, that's pretty obvious to me.
If you think about it, we know the influence that the Masons had. We know that the Masons were probably exclusively Christian there in that place at that time.
Well, if they weren't actual, Christian men who held to the tenets of the Christian faith, they were, for lack of a better word, sympathetic to the teachings and precepts behind the moral code it represents. And
I would bet that the majority were out practicing Christians, but this is how the Masons influenced our government, because although they were primarily Christian men, they were Masons too, and they knew the importance for tolerance of other religions as a part of inclusion and making us one unit, one whole family. And I think that comes through in our government, because although we were founded by Christians, I don't think they intended it to be a strictly Christian nation.
Well,
you know what I mean?
And I think when we talk about the word tolerance, that's a modern word. Now, back then, they would not have known anything about that. They were not necessarily.
They surely would have understood the importance of accepting.
What they were looking for was they didn't want to create another government system that could impose its will on the people. That's what they were completely intolerant of. They were intolerant of another king, another monarchy. So they they had to sit down and craft a government system that would not allow for this type of thing. And that's why I think what they settled for is that the people, i.e. those who go to church, those who don't go to church, those who are strong in their faith, those who are not strong in their faith, don't have a faith at all, the people are required to force the state to remain within its jurisdiction and boundaries. So we as the people were to hold this Leviathan in distrust and not let it grow and not let it get out of control and hold it accountable. Now, we have miserably failed in this day in that area, but that's what they crafted, and I think that is a very Masonic idea. If you look at our Masonic government, the Grand Lodge of Florida, when you go there, it's a representative form of democracy.
It's exactly like our government.
It absolutely is. Everything about it.
Our executives, we've got our legislators, with the Vigilance Committee, all these other committees are the legislators, and then we've got the House of Representatives. That's us. We go and vote.
Yeah, that's right.
On behalf of all the members.
It's completely representative. So it's not mob rule. It's not every one man, one vote, which is mob rule. And of course, Plato, he explained that very clearly to us, that it's a failed system. It is a constitutional representative republic, and it's brilliant in its crafting. But anyways, we're down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. But the truth is that when you drive around D.C., and you start to take it in and you start to see this stuff, you realize that this entire system was Masonic at its core, man. And there's lodges all over the place out there, and there's all kinds of symbolism and stuff all over the place. And it's just interesting to me how in our day and age today, Masonry can be held in such suspicion. You know, having
Well, we've
having been,
forgotten a lot.
we have, I guess so. I guess we've forgotten all of it. I mean, we've completely we have not been diligent
No,
in
definitely
any
not.
of the things the founding fathers told us we needed to be diligent in.
No, and Masonry as a whole isn't particularly good at claiming credit for things.
Right. Yeah. Well, because
Tend to like to just stay in the background and do our thing and not take credit
yeah, that's right.
as individuals and as an entity. And I think that's a good thing in most cases. But, you know, we do have a monument in Arlington
Right.
to Washington. So the fact that it's there and people still have no idea is a little scary.
Yeah. Right. It kind of shows, and like the bartender we were talking to, you know, who's in the heart of DC. His whole life, he lived his whole life there in the heart of DC, and he had no earthly idea what Masonry really was. He's just one of those guys. What do you mean, like bricklayers? You know, he's one of those guys. You know, it's like, and it was just, that was shocking to me. It's just, it was like, wow, we really.
I think we've got to do some re-education to our citizens about the importance of Masonry and our role in the formation of this country.
I agree.
And hopefully the role we can still play.
And it goes back to that, putting together that annual trip to, to DC, the on the level Masonic education trip to DC annually. I'm going to be a bulldog on it. So we'll try to put that together, guys, and keep the costs down as best we can, and get everybody to come and put, and my thing is going to be to find a tour guide who really knows this stuff, and maybe year after year kind of build this tour to the point where it is so informative and it is so dead on, you know, that it becomes a must, you know, for every Mason to either actually experience it, or maybe we can do publications of it and do, you know, broadcasts from there to help people. But the other thing is that it goes to what you and I are going to be talking about at the symposium on January 13th. Get your tickets. Go online to what is the online thing? It's the no. That's,
well, you could just go to onthelevelwithfredandchris.com.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Right there on the homepage. It tells you how to.
Get your tickets right away. Don't wait. They're going to start selling really fast, especially as the holidays wind down. Everybody's going to want to get their tickets at the same time, and there is a limited amount. So please get online and get those tickets. But the talk that we're going to do, we're going to be very brief, the two of us, because we're going to let our guests do most of the speaking, and we're going to let our the people who come in the audience do a lot of the questions and answers and speaking anyway. There's going to be an open forum idea. But our talk is a basic theme, is the basic theme for OTL for 2024, and that is a question. And the question is, does Masonry have something to offer to this hurting country? And we think the answer is yes, and we're going to try to develop that more and more, that theme for 2024 throughout the year. Does Masonry have something to offer the young man? A young man who doesn't know who he is, doesn't know, you know, what to do in this world, has no purpose, feels like he has no purpose, feels like he's lost, or wants to become something, you know, part of something bigger than himself. Well, I think, and I know you do too, Chris, I think Masonry has something to offer in that area. Yeah,
what we need are engaged Masons.
That's right. And informed and engaged.
Yeah. We need to be active, we need to be contributing, and we need to be visible. And we haven't been some of those things for a little while now. And, you know, credit to Right Worshipful Catsalis and Silverman for what they've been doing here the last 6 or 7 years, because I think it is doing all those things.
It's really is.
Us visible. We went around as a group of Masons, dressed nice, acting right in public.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people were looking at us and asking questions, and everyone there was a great representative to the community as Masons. And we were there, visible, doing things. Right. Touring the Capitol as Masons. That was pretty impressive.
It was a trip. I had not been to the Capitol building since I was very young, so I really didn't understand.
We had to basically bind you and blindfold you and gag you to get you in there.
Yeah, it does not represent us anymore. Those two houses represent themselves, and that's pretty obvious in their behaviors anymore. But that doesn't mean we're going to give up.
That's right.
It's worth fighting for. That's for sure. And I know I'm not alone. I'm absolutely not alone in that idea. Those old men.
The enemy isn't the other guy on the street.
No,
that's not who we should be fighting with.
That's right.
The enemy are these corporations controlling our government.
Those corporations and the politicians that sold out. The corporations and the politicians that sold out to them is really the enemy. And those people are in their 80s, late 80s. They're very old. They've turned. The grift goes to their children. But there's still not that many of them. There's a lot more of us. And I think we can begin. Masonry can be pivotal in helping people to put away the left versus right lie. And I think you and I are a perfect example of that. We talk about it all the time. I would be considered more of a center right person, and you would be considered more of a center left person. But we're able to be productive. We're very productive in what we do together.
Well, we share the same desires.
That's right.
At the end of the day. And it's true, I think, of everyone on the left and the right that are so passionate and hating each other. They both want their government to be good.
That's right. That's right.
They pick these tiny little details that we have differences on to keep us quarreling with each other about the nonsense. Well, the big stuff just slides right out the door, while we're fighting. And it's working. So the only way to stop this is for us to stop the bickering with each other about the nonsense and look at the back door and watch all the stuff they're carrying out, because we can stop them together. And I think we both want that stuff to stay in the house.
Yeah, that's right.
We both want the government that we started with.
That's right. Yeah.
Both sides.
Very limited in its scope and power.
Right.
And very much answerable. We're
a nation of individuals who prided ourselves on our strength, our tenacity, our individualness. Like we prided ourselves on that at one point. And, we've gotten a little bit dependent on things over time. We have. And the founding fathers, their opinion of government employees would have been very different than ours. We hold them up. We hold them up as these heroes, and that can do no wrong, and they're somehow they're a little better than we are, kind of idea. Washington. They were trying to basically deify that man.
Right, and he was
instances where their attempts were being made to make a deity out of the person.
Right. Well, that's
after time he would not be who he was.
That's
he
right.
was fighting against it.
Absolutely. So if you look at the Capitol Rotunda, so they wanted to bury him in the center point of the rotunda. And if you stand in the center and look straight up, you will literally see a picture mural, a whole mural system of Washington as a deity. And the idea is that he was supposed to rise up from his grave where he was buried at the bottom of the rotunda right there, rise up into glory to be this deity. They really, really wanted a king, man. And they wanted him to be the king, and you can see all of this, and it just and we as people who actually make this country work, we need to fight against that. And the point I was making was that our founding fathers would not have treated the average, government, in air quotes, employee with much respect. They would not have understood them. They would not have understood the lady behind the DMV counter who treats you like a piece of garbage. They would not have understood that. They would not have understood that they were in America. I deal with building. I'm in the trades, dealing with building department officials all the time who treat you like you're an absolute moron and have no time for you and lie to you and about you, and hold up jobs just for their own ego's sake. Our founding fathers would have taken up arms had they seen something like this Leviathan that holds us in contempt, every day of our life. They would not have understood such a thing. Now, I don't know what the remedy is. I say, you change hearts and minds one person at a time. And I think that's what Masonry does.
I agree. And you've got to show them. People don't
Yep.
believe things unless they see it with their eyes.
Yeah,
You gotta
that's
show
right.
them.
Yep.
And it's like those people that built our country. They built the house. They built their own house.
Right.
And the respect, the reverence they had for the thing that they built was probably off the charts.
Yeah, that's right.
But when you get to a house that you built with your bare hands 3 generations later, the great grandkids are ripping everything out. They don't care about the history of that house. They don't care that it was the first that did this or that. They're like, no, take it out. It's old. I want new.
I want new. Yeah.
And they lose their history.
Yeah.
And that's what's happened to us. We're generations, and a large portion of our population have lost its history because they just don't care. And so as Masons, I think we benefit from the fact that we revere our history and we teach it.
Right.
And study, and not just American history, but our history as a species on the planet.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Like I
so
think
the more that you try to lift up history, I think the more successful your civilization is going to be.
Yeah, we need
And not like the fact that you have to always live the way you did thousands of years ago, but just understanding why they lived the way they did will help you live a better life today.
Yeah, they wrote they wrote a lot. Thomas Jefferson left us a lot of the why he did what he did, why he believed what he did. He was a deist. He didn't hold to the miraculous, but he was very much into the Enlightenment. That was his thing. But he understood human nature. He totally understood the checks and balances that are built into this system. They're there for a reason, and now they're gone. And the checks and balances, it's all one lump of grift going on, and it's just
well, they're playing to our base instincts now.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
We used to appeal to our higher selves, right? And we revered virtues and things that, were hard, difficult. But now it seems like all politicians play to your most base primal instincts.
Right. Yeah. And all the while,
which is a dangerous thing.
All the while getting richer and richer, and that's why you vote a guy into national office who's got a life of exemplary service. I think of there was a senatorial candidate that I helped support in Denver, in Colorado, back in the late '90s, and he was just a straight shooter. His entire career, he'd been in government since, from out of high school, for goodness sakes. And the guy had exemplary marks of a guy that really did what he said he was going to do along the way. And literally his first year in Washington, D.C., he just reversed everything he'd ever believed in and became another grifter. And to this day, he's one of the biggest grifters up there. And
really?
And it's just amazing to me that there's something about the unfettered ability to line your pockets that it doesn't matter who you are. You're a human being, and that temptation is going to get you, man. And that's the problem with what goes on up there. We drove
There's
around.
So many problems.
Oh yeah, we drove around.
I think there's no IQ test to get into government. First of all, there's no requirement that you have any knowledge of history, or even the workings of government, or our own Constitution. There's no test.
No, that's right.
You get into government. Anyone can get in there. All they have to do is become popular enough.
That's right.
And
that's right.
I'd sure like to see some, let's make them take a test and exhibit that they understand our Constitution and that they know some important things that happened in our history before they go work in the government that represents us, I think.
Yeah, well, that would make them
be a bad
accountable to it, so they don't want to know anything about that. And once you get into that position, once you're in the position, then you surround yourself with people who do all the work and keep you out of the loop so you're not accountable, for any of the things you do. And that's kind of the way it works. They have these gigantic entourages of people that surround them, that they put themselves, in the center of this massive entourage. I think at one point, Harry Reid, who was a senator from Nevada, had 380 people under him. 380 people. working for him. I mean, how do you, that's a government. He was a government unto himself. Now, I could be wrong about that number, but I seem to remember 380 of the people, and he was sponsored by every single defense contractor in the state of Nevada, and he was just one of those, one of those guys like Mitch McConnell. Same thing, If you look into the man's financial past, he and his spouse, you would be outraged. I was outraged. It's like, are you kidding me? This man is worth hundreds of millions of dollars on a civil service
Right.
salary, and has connections all over the world, especially tight connections with China. It's like, come on, man. And he's held up. Now he's a right side guy, so he's held up by the right as this stalwart of freedom, But he's a grifter, man. He's a total crook, And if you look at Chuck Schumer, same thing, man. If you look into Chuck Schumer's life, and where he's gotten his money, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And if you look at their life, it's like you'd be shocked, man. That this is not the way it was. All right, we're going down this rabbit trail. Don't get me started.
Like in most jobs, you have like at least an annual review, if not a quarterly review, or we go over like our successes and our are we getting better? How about we do that for our politicians?
Yeah, well,
can we do a little review? Because once they're in, they're in.
They're in. Yeah, they're in.
And there's no review. There's no way to get them out. Not really, other than taking extreme measures and wasting a lot of money to try to get it done.
Yeah,
but even that's become political stunt now. I think pretty much every president to the end of time is going to impeachment proceedings will begin on day one of his inauguration.
Oh yeah, that's
what side you're on.
That system is so broken. It's banana
crazy.
republic. It's a banana republic kind of idea anymore. So if you're listening right now and you're thinking, well, it's too big, it's too broken, there's nothing we can do. That's not true. There is something you can do. And you can start. It always starts grassroots. All politics is local. You can go to your lodge. You can begin to educate yourself. You can begin to live your life in a way that promotes liberty and freedom and fair trade, and begin to educate yourself, your brothers around you, and your children, and those who are younger than you, those who are coming up. And we can do that one person at a time. We have a network of lodges all around this country, and we could access that network and begin a movement. Like I said, does Masonry have something to offer to this hurting country? I think we have.
We do what I suggested and that we do in government in our lodges in Florida.
Yeah.
If you want to get into an elected position, you have to do a certain amount of education and prove that you were educated enough to get the basic information you need to be one of those elected officers.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's not a popularity contest. We've got to get away from that, man.
Yeah. That's a cheery note
to end on. Well, all right. So
you know what? You know what's cool though? Going back to the DC trip, we saw when we toured the Capitol, we actually saw the display case that the Washington gavel sits in the Capitol building, where just tourists can come and see it. And it's on loan from Potomac Lodge to the Capitol.
Right.
And this is a Masonic artifact, but it's also a government relic.
Yeah. It's a national treasure.
We
correct.
Share it with the people as Masons, and we saw the trowel belongs to another lodge in the area, and they also give their relics to the Capitol to display to the people.
Right.
And so we're visible. We're right there in front of everybody. It's just crazy that people just still have no idea what's happening.
I know. But that is our call and mission right there. There it is. So if you are, in fact, a brother listening to the On the Level podcast with Fred and Chris, then you know what to do. You know what to do. Go back to your lodge and get involved. Educate yourself. Come to the symposium. If you're in the state of Florida, well, if you're anywhere within the sound of our voice and you can make it, please come and begin to get charged up. Get yourself excited and get passionate about educating yourself about this country's Masonic history, and then prepare to do something, to get out there and do something. One of the things that we offer to the young men of this country is a moral code. We are a system of morality. We have a system of living your life in such a way that is productive and beneficial to yourself and all those around you. And that's huge. We lack that in this country. Our young men are lost. They have no moral compass. They have no direction. And Masonry in a very real way offers that to the young man who comes in. We hold ourselves accountable. Generally speaking, we're men, we're flawed, but we hold ourselves accountable to a higher standard. And that is something that's very much lacking. And that is something that Masonry does have to offer to this hurting country. Again, you're going to hear me say that on this show over and over again. That's our theme for 2024. Do we have something to offer? And if we do, how do we get it out there, right?
I think we've been saying from day one, you have to fix your house before you can go outside of it and start trying to fix anything else. So
that's right.
It really, for us as a fraternity, starts with fixing ourselves, I think. We've been bleeding out through time a little bit, and maybe a lot. And we need to reconstitute ourselves. And it starts at each individual lodge, not any Grand Lodge. No jurisdiction's going to do this. The Grand Lodge of Florida helped by sponsoring a program for the lodges, but ultimately it's the lodges that decide to do it or not do it. And, a lot of lodges are merging and some are going under, and that's going to be your lodge too if you don't get on it.
Yeah, no, that's right.
You got to start fixing your own house. You got to build up your membership, fix up your lodge, get yourself financially healthy, and then you'll be in a place to actually do some good and help people.
Yeah, that's right.
But most lodges are just trying to help themselves at this point. They themselves need charity. How can you do charity when you need charity?
Yeah, right. Yeah, first, when the mask, like they say on the airplane, when the mask comes down, secure your own before you help somebody else with theirs. The assumption there is that you're going to be helping somebody else with their mask. That's the assumption. But the task at hand is make sure yours is first on correctly so you don't die.
Even your baby, they're like, leave the child alone. Put your own mask on.
Get your own mask on, and then the imperative in that statement is then you will go help others.
Right.
It's not a suggestion. It's not a suggestion. Right. And that's the way I love the way it's worded. It always struck me whenever I'm on a plane and they say that. I'm one of the geeks who are listening to them because I'm always listening for that, but I'm a geek anyway.
You're one of two people on the plane listening.
I'm one of two people on the plane listening because that's what they say. The assumption is that you will be helping others, but first secure your own mask, and that's exactly what you were just talking about right there.
And we have a plan for any lodge to help themselves. The oxygen mask is here. It's falling right out of our website.
That's right.
You just got to put it on and do it.
Secure it first.
Yeah, just do it. Start fixing your lodge. You've got to strengthen your numbers. And it will happen. It will happen if you just start the steps today. You will start to get new members. Those members are going to be extremely zealous. They're going to want to learn more about what Freemasonry is and where did all this come from.
Right.
And then they're going to want to teach it because that's what you do once you have knowledge.
Yeah, that's right.
You teach it to people coming up, and now you've got a strong lodge, and you're in a place where you can start to raise money, where you can have influence and do things. So we hope that you take all of that desire to change the government we just talked about and go change your lodge with it first.
Right. Change yourself, change your lodge, change your community, and
make
maybe, just maybe, if we're by the grace of God. And by a lot of hard work, maybe, just maybe, we could change the direction of this hurting land. That would be an amazing thing to see.
It's grassroots, man. If we can start fixing our own selves and building up our membership in our lodges, we will have influence again.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Everyone will know who we are again, finally.
Yeah. And like I hear people all the time who say, my grandpa was amazing. He was such a good man. He was such a good man, and I really loved him, respected him. Yeah, and he didn't talk about it much, right? So that's probably something we need to change. We need to talk a little more about it. But I get the point for the old timers out there who are yelling at me right now. The point is that if you live your life if you live a life of integrity, uncompromising integrity, if you're an honest, hardworking person, people will know that about you. That stands out in this world, and people will trust you, and you will earn the right to speak into their lives. That's the bottom line. Each person, each person living the life of integrity and honesty, and praying that God would turn this country back to the kind of men that originally founded it, would be an amazing thing. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about you, my brother.
Oh, geez.
I know, right?
Okay.
This is last Tuesday was your last stated meeting as worshipful master of the mighty 147, Sarasota, Florida.
Yeah.
So now you've got we got one more meeting the day after Christmas. You and I will be the only ones there. So that'll be your actual final gavel, right? That's it. You're done.
Well, we have a called communication on January 5th.
That's the installation.
That will be the installation of the 2024 officer line. So I will open the lodge there.
Okay.
Officially.
So that's officially it.
I will get to say some last words, and then I won't get the gavel down, but I will get to pass my gavel to the next man.
To Zach. Shout out to Zach there. Yep. That's awesome. So now a lot of people are asking, a lot of people are wondering, you sold your home. We talked about this on the last podcast too. You sold your home here in Sarasota. Good on you. It was a dream that you had and a dream you fulfilled. And I am so blessed to know a man who actually did it. Well, I shouldn't brag too much. I did it too. But anyway,
you did it.
You did it.
I'll probably do it again.
You did it, and then you bought a really beautiful property, something that you and your wife really desired, up in South Carolina. That's where you are now. But I have heard you say more than once that you will always be a member of Sarasota 147.
That's right.
For the rest of your life. So how's that going to work? Tell people exactly what's your plan as far as that goes.
Well, my business is headquartered in Sarasota. All of my employees are there,
right?
My directors and my employees. And so the company still has regular meetings, and I'll be going to those meetings. I'm only a 1-hour flight away.
Right.
And so I've already got 3 planned, 3 flights in the first month to come back. And one of those is coming to our installation, and another is a degree at another lodge for our brothers, and one is for this education symposium. And so it's my hope that I can make it to at least one stated meeting a month and sit as a past master quietly and enjoy. So hopefully to watch the fruits of some of my labor and my predecessors' labors flourish in front of us. That's my hope.
And we're going to need you. So you're going to sit quietly, but we're definitely going to need your help in your leadership. Now, as far as the reimbursement program goes for Grand Lodge, John Schaefer, myself, and you, we're committed for 2024 to be a part of that. So, and I know that will continue to move forward.
So for our lodge, I'm going to go back into making those calls and scheduling appointments, which I haven't been able to do all year.
Nice, yeah.
So John Schaefer is going to get some much needed help.
Yeah.
And we brought in, I think, 16 entered apprentices this year, and we raised 18 master masons. Something
That's awesome.
like that was our numbers.
Yeah.
Next year planned for more like 25 or 30 entered apprentices.
Yeah.
And a healthy amount of master masons. And so our lodge is in a place where it's starting to become easier finally after a few years.
Yeah.
And we're getting more used to the growth. And we have so many. I wish I could express to you the level of quality of men that we're bringing into the fraternity through this program.
Yeah.
These are excellent men, young men. Most of them are in their 30s.
Yeah.
And really, really good men. I just see them. Wow. You really do see that it's true that you're made a Mason in your heart before you are in a lodge.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very true.
We didn't do anything other than stay visible. I think that people need and want what the fraternity has to offer right now.
It's
We just
absolutely
need to be
true.
visible.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. You're right. And we did the symposium last year up in Hillsborough, and that was one of our talks. Masonry. Now what? And that was one of the things is that it's not we're not sparking interest that isn't already there. All we're
No.
doing is we're making ourselves available to men who have already raised their hand and said, I need something in my life that's bigger than me. I need something
Right.
in my life that's reliable. I need this, and I want this.
Get a place to feel safe and explore,
Right.
my own thoughts and feelings.
And like for me, I didn't have any friends. I literally didn't have any friends. I worked and I came
Honestly,
home.
it was the same for me.
Yeah. And now I have thousands of friends all over the world, who I can call my Masonic brothers. I mean, all over the world, who would do anything for me, and I'd do anything for them. And that's what the reimbursement program is doing. We're not creating interest where there is no interest. We're making ourselves available to those who already raised their hand and said, I want something more in my life. And Masonry is there. We're right there to say, hey, check this out. This might be what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And 2024 is going to be all about that, because you, me, and John are going to kill the reimbursement program this year.
Yeah, we want to just make every lodge aware of it, make sure everyone's tried it, and if they're trying it, that they're doing it right so that they see success, and just watch our state grow.
Yeah, that's right.
In numbers and influence, and hopefully save some lodges.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's right. That's right. And
if we don't do something, we are going to lose lodges.
Yeah, that's right. It's just a fact. There's a lot of lodges out there that there was, who was telling the story about a lodge in Florida where, leadership just kept ignoring the pleas of the secretary over and over again. Guys, we can't keep going this way. We can't keep going this way. And then finally, at a meeting, the secretary got up in desperation and said, we need to pass a hat tonight, guys, because if I don't pay the water bill on Monday, they're going to turn the water off to the lodge on Tuesday.
Got themselves in a place where they literally had to pass a hat around.
But here's the point of the story. Everyone was shocked. They were shocked. What? I had no idea. We had no idea. It's like, it's like
you're not listening.
No one's listening. No one's listening. Yeah. So and you're right. There's a lot of lodges that are gonna end up closing, and we're gonna lose them. They're gonna sell off those buildings or do whatever they're gonna do, and that's a shame. That we're not gonna let that happen, and it doesn't have to happen. If you're passionate about this fraternity, and you want to see it available to your grandsons, because I do. Then get involved. Get involved this year. Make 2024 the year that you take at least one step forward towards helping Masonry get back to the place where it used to be in this country.
That's the key. And if you're in a place of leadership in a lodge or at a grand lodge, your job isn't to preside over the selling off of everything you own and making as much money as you can as it on the way out. Your job is to save all that crap.
Yeah.
Your job is to stop it from being lost.
Yeah, that's right.
So you got to get off your butt and work hard if you're in a position of leadership, and do your job and start saving things.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Preserving things, right? Like bringing them back.
All right. So to recap,
new buildings.
To recap, everything's good. If you're out there thinking Chris Worshipful Burns is going to abandon us for South Carolina,
oh no,
you're wrong. No. You're wrong. As a matter of fact, the way you and I have talked about this, I'm thinking it's going to be even more productive, because when you're here, we're going to have a limited amount of time face to face. We're going to have to get all of our things done. Right now, we have a luxury of time where we kind of take advantage of it. When we're supposed to get together and do some business, we don't. Well, that's not going to be an option anymore. When you come into town, we're going to have a limited amount of time. We're going to have to do business. We're going to have to get things set and working, get our action items going, and get out there and get things done. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a great year. It's going to be a good year for OTL.
It's going to be an amazing year.
Yeah, we're gonna hit it hard. And also, we are dedicated to helping Three Ruffian Cigar Company take its place amongst and be successful this coming year. We currently have a fundraiser going. Liberty Lodge is doing a fundraiser, and I don't know where they're at on their ticket sales. But if you're local, well, local or not, doesn't matter. But if you want to participate and help out Liberty Lodge, 31, right? Yeah, Liberty Lodge here in
412.
412.
Liberty Lodge number 412.
Manatee's 30. Yeah, sorry. Same building, different lodges.
Same building. Yep.
But they're doing a fundraiser for a $20 ticket. You can enter the fundraiser and help Liberty Lodge out, and the payoff is a 25 a box of Three Ruffian Masonic cigars, which are custom made just for Three Ruffian Cigar Company. And they're really good. Everyone's raving about them. So shout out to us, email us. We'll get you in touch with them, and you can get you can buy one of them. I think you can do it on their Facebook page, if I'm not mistaken. But just shout out to us.
On their website. Oh, the raffle tickets. No, you've got to find somebody in person, I think.
Yeah. So shout out to us. If you want to help out and buy a few tickets, maybe you want to buy 10 tickets, sure, we'll sell you 10 tickets. If you want to buy,
selling them at the symposium, I'm sure.
And then we'll be selling them at the symposium. The drawing is January 31st, and you could be one of two winners to receive a full box of Three Ruffians cigars. It is 10% of the proceeds of that company go to Shriners International, of course, and it's a great company, and we really want to see it explode. Full disclosure, I am part of that company. And so is Chris. We try to keep OTL and the cigar company separate, but full disclosure is that we are part of it. But it is just another way for us to advance the cause of Masonry in this country, and we do love cigars. We like premium cigars. And sometimes a little premium.
All those sales go to Shriners International.
Yeah, like I said, yep, absolutely. So, yeah, so
we care about.
It's just another way, a fundraiser. You know, if you're a Mason, you understand fundraisers. We're always getting the bite for $1 here or $20 there put on us as Masons to try and help out the different causes that we're all involved in, and this is just another one. So if you're so inclined, shout out to us. You can reach us by email, fred@onthelevelwithfredandchris.com or chris@onthelevelwithfredandchris.com. Shoot us those emails. I still, for the last year, I've been threatening to we have been threatening to do an episode just reading the emails that we've gotten over the year. I know we got to put that together because I've gotten some really encouraging emails lately from people from literally all over the world. And it's just so encouraging and humbling to think that you guys are out there listening to us. You're taking back to your lodges a lot of the education and a lot of the stuff that we've been getting into and really fueling your passion for the fraternity. And we just appreciate it more than we can say, that's for sure.
Well, I know that people really liked the Morgan Affair episode that we did.
Blew up, so man.
I would love to do a Taxel hoax episode.
Let's do it.
Get into the nitty-gritty of that whole thing, because I think a lot of people aren't aware of how influential that was and how much BS it was.
Yeah, like I didn't know if you've ever seen that picture of the goat man sitting on a throne with a bunch of children at his feet. And the Masonic emblems, that's part of the hoax. That's where that came from. And a lot of people think that picture is actually a Masonic document. And but it comes from a hoax called the Trexel hoax, which, and there's one of our brothers who's going to be at the seminar, teaching at the seminar, did a talk on it. Yeah, Daniel Molina did a talk on it. It was really informative. Yeah, let's do it. We'll pull up some of Daniel's stuff, and maybe we'll even talk to him a little bit about it, and we'll get everybody into it and learn more about it. It's more Masonic education. You can't learn enough about this stuff, and at the end of the day, if it makes you a better man to your wife, to your children, to your parents, your church, your job, then Masonry is working. Because that's where it starts, making good men better, making better men in the world to change the world for the better. That's really what this fraternity is all about. And if you're listening to this and you're not a Mason, well, God bless you. We really thank you for that. And like we say all the time, go down to your local lodge.
Yeah, just Google Freemason Lodge near me, and
you'll find one. Go down there and talk to them. Tell them you heard these two knuckleheads on a podcast called On the Level, and they told me to come down here and talk to you because apparently you got something I need. So do it. Do it today.
Was great. Great to keep this going.
Yeah. So we'll still drop them.
You gave me some semblance of home, which I needed.
Like I told you last night, you did not lose a home. You just gained a second one, man. So you're a blessed man. You got a home here and you got a home there, man. So you are really truly blessed.
Lucky.
I'm lucky. I'm even luckier because now I have a brother who lives in a beautiful place in South Carolina, so I can come up and visit you. And hang out.
You know you will be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm ready. So whenever you're ready, you let me know. I'm coming up.
Buy this lot right next to me. It's gonna be yours.
Yes. My wife is on my wife asks me about that almost every day. So I'm ready. Right.
Now. I'm gonna start making my inquiries.
Do it, man. Let's do that. Let's get that done. That way we can impact 2 states. Because South Carolina, look out, baby. We got our eyes on you next, man.
South Carolina, Texas.
Oh yeah, Texas. Yeah, any update on the Texas situation? I know we can't really talk about it or talk to anyone about the Texas situation until after their installation or after January 1. I know
we'll be doing an interview with the primary person at
that's
the center
right.
of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that.
As soon as they have the Grand Lodge.
I want to see Texas go from this tangled up web or this mess that they've gotten themselves into, if that's what it is. We don't really know the truth about it yet. But I want to see them go from this to being just absolutely on fire and passionate about the fraternity going forward. They got a lot of young men wanting to get up in there and affect some positive change for the fraternity. And I say bring it on, man. I'm ready. Yeah. I'm ready to help. OTL's ready to help in any way we can to make that happen.
Let's hope they take this situation and use it for positive change in the state of Texas.
Use your superpowers for positive change, baby.
Great responsibility.
Yeah, that's right. All right, man. Well, I enjoyed it. We're 500 miles apart, but we're really not apart. We've got technology when it works. As long as we don't have any Mac OS involved, the technology works well.
We'll fix that.
And we're going to fix that. That's right. All right, so you're flying down Saturday morning, yeah?
Yeah,
right.
I'll be there all day Saturday.
If you need anything from me, you just let me know. You need me to pick you up, you need me to drive you around, whatever you need, just holler out. I'm always available to you, brother. You know that.
Reserve.
Oh, I've got it. I'm looking right at it, man. It's right here on my bar.
Oh, wow. It's a little early.
Yeah. Well, no. I'm not drinking it. I'm just looking at it. So.
Okay, sure.
But, yeah, so, brother, it's always a privilege. Always a joy to do this with you.
Too.
I'm looking forward to 2024. And if you've listened to the end here, you are definitely one of our rock star heroes. We really appreciate you hanging with us to the very end.
Yes, thank you.
Take what you've learned, take what you've heard back to your lodge. Talk to your brothers. Tell them about the podcast. We would like to be able to speak to as many Masons as we can, and we'd like to be able to hear from as many Masons as we can. For this new coming year, 2024. Does Masonry have something to offer to this hurting country? We, worshipful Chris Burns and myself, we believe it does, and we're going to do all we can to make that a reality. Chris, what do you got on our way out?
I'm looking forward to talking some more about the Taxel hoax and getting some more interested people on this symposium to come and join us in person. I can't wait to be back and forth doing a Master Mason degree, doing another lecture. We have a lot going on. It's holiday season. We're just really ready to end this year with a bang and then come into next year stronger than ever. So buckle up and please join us in the adventure next year.
You got it, man. I will see you on Saturday, my brother. Have an awesome day. And you guys listening, you too, have an awesome day. Get out there and make a difference. See ya.
Yes. Please.